Concrete pastures.
That's green, that's right.
Hello, family. Welcome back to Concrete Pastures. I'm Nancy Mulemwasisi. Welcome to all our new listeners and watchers. Welcome to our platform. This is the space where we highlight immigrant stories who have relocated to other countries in search of greener pastures. We share our stories of our various experiences and lessons we've learned along the way and offer new perspective on the journey of an immigrant. So whether you're currently an immigrant or soon or later to be, or just curious, come along with us on this journey and get a better understanding of what it really means to be an immigrant. A lot of you are not subscribed, but you still continue to watch us. Support us by subscribing, sharing, and liking our content. This way we can continue to have amazing guests like the one we have today. Her name is Alphonsine Kabagabo. And this topic that we're covering today, actually, it might be triggering to some of you that are from Rwanda. Today, we are talking about her experience in surviving the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi. Our guest today continues to give a voice to the voiceless. Today, she's here to discuss her experience in surviving the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi. Anybody who's not familiar with the Rwandan genocide, according to Google, in 1994, Rwandan genocide, also known as the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, members of the Hutu ethnic majority in the East Central African nation of Rwanda murdered as many as 8,000 people, mostly of the Tutsi minority. Let's meet our guest. Her name is Alphonsine Kabagabo. She is a director of Women for Refugee Women, an organization that supports refugee women and women seeking asylum in UK to rebuild their life through empowerment activities and campaigning for a fair asylum system. As a survivor of the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi, Alphonsine is one of the few women with lived experience leading an organization in the refugee and migration sector. She comes to the role after more than 20 years of experience in leadership roles for the World Association of Girl Guides and Scouts as the Director of Africa Region, leading the design and delivery of girl-centered center, gender-transformative programs. Alphonsine is a passionate advocate for girls and women's rights, peace building, and culture understanding. She is a former trustee of SELF, an organization supporting the survivors of the Rwandan genocide against the Tutsi, and a former trustee of Womankind and feminist women organization advocating for women equality in the global South. Alphonsine, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been long in the making. Thank you for making time. I know you are busy, but I couldn't wait for you to give a voice to others that cannot. And I continue to advocate for a lot of our refugees. And you are one powerful voice for a lot of refugees in the UK. And for starters, I just want to take you back to Rwanda, just before everything started, before the war started. How was it growing up in Rwanda? What do you remember?
Well, for me, the best memory is of my family, because I was born in Rwanda in a family of 14 children, had 11 sisters, 10, actually, a lot of sisters, 8 sisters, 5 brothers. So my memory is really that loving family where we are so many of us loving each other. That's the positive side. That's really, I had a wonderful family, and my dad and my mom were just amazing. They loved each other, but they loved us so much. And my dad was so progressive that despite you grow up in a country where being a girl is not always, seen as a good thing, or opportunities are not as available to you as boys, but my dad made sure that boys and girls in the family were equal. opportunity to go to school. If they arise, he will make sure we all get them. That's the positive side. The negative side, as much as I really loved growing in Rwanda, having a great family, great friends, being very privileged to go to school, because at the time I lived in Rwanda, going to school as a girl was not easy. So I was very privileged to go to primary school, secondary school, even university. There was only one university in Rwanda.
Oh, wow.
And the only one in the time
The
of
whole
my
country.
time in the whole country, yeah, until the genocide happened in 94, actually. We had only one university in the whole country. It's a small country, of course, but it was a very poor country. So having a chance to go to university as a woman was amazing. So I was so privileged to go to secondary school and go to university. But I was even extra privileged because I was a Tutsi. Because when I was going to Rwanda, the division between Hutu and Tutsi was incredible. Tutsi were discriminated. We were not kind of allowed to go to school, to have a job easily. So personally, as a woman and as a Tutsi, to have been privileged to go to school, to go to university, and after to become a teacher, I was a history teacher. It was great. So my memory is that happiness of being privileged, loved by family, but also sometimes the sadness of how discriminated the Tutsi were, but also the fact just to think there was so much discrimination in terms of us being together as one people, how do you say, one country. I don't know even how to say it. We were so focused on the fact we are Hutu or Tutsi. It was even in our ID, our identity card said, you know, that you Rwandan, but you are Tutsi, you are Hutu. So that made the division even stronger. So the division, discrimination is something I lived through so much when I was growing up in Rwanda. And that made me sad, but also made me committed to really making sure I become this person who do my best to advocate for peace, for really peace building, for people to just get on. And remember, we are all human beings created by God, sharing values and all that, that we shouldn't be divided by mainly the politician. Because even if we grew up being Tutsi and Hutu, the politician at that time used that to divide us so they can get even more power, you know that. So it's a mixture, how do you say, my memories of growing up in Rwanda, yeah, it's that kind of mixture of happiness, feeling very privileged, but also sadness of what I lived through in terms of discrimination that ended in a genocide. So the genocide did not happen like that. The genocide happened as a result of discrimination that has been going on for years and years. And the division really mainly highlighted by very bad governance. So that's my kind of memory of growing up in Rwanda. But of course, growing up in a beautiful, warm, Thousand Hills, all that.
Yeah.
I do miss it, but I don't miss the division I grow in, I have to say, discrimination.
Oh, wow. Because the rest of us and the rest of the world, it only starts once that plane, I guess, had crashed.
Yeah.
So that's where for a lot of us, the story begins. I mean, for anybody who's interested, the story is right on Google. You could read all about it. I wrote a paper on genocide together with the Holocaust. I actually had to compare the two. I couldn't sleep for days.
Yeah.
In college, I couldn't sleep because of how painful it was for me to this all country mates for what was going on, and comparing the two there's no comparison. With the
two. It's incredible. So yeah, that's my memories.
Oh wow. So the genocide starts. How was that experience for you, and how did you get out of Rwanda and ending up in the UK?
Yeah, so as I say, the division, but the have been going on for quite a long time. Killing Tutsi mainly started even before the genocide in 90, already in October 90, when the RPF attacked Rwanda, killing of Tutsi started in different places. But it's when the plane was crashed. The president died in that plane. I remember very well. I remember I was with my, I was staying with my parents actually, because my parents lived close to a Catholic church.
Mm-hmm.
And because there has been already so much fear, every Tutsi was living in fear since October 90, so many have been killed. So I had to really move from where I used to live with my husband and move to my parents because they lived near a Catholic church. And I had a daughter. My daughter was only 6 months. So on the 7th of April, when the plane crashed, my dad, my mom, my sister was there, and a few other, we all got up and said, we're going to die. We knew that every Tutsi is going to be killed. So we gathered in the one small room in the house to hide. And as soon as we started hiding, the militias and soldiers came to the house because they were going to every house where there were Tutsis. Those houses have been already identified long ago. You know, everyone knew who is Tutsi, who is Hutu. So already in that morning of the 7th, the soldiers came to wanted to kill us. Fortunately, my dad, luckily he was quite well off and he had some bit of money, so he gave them money for them not to kill us. And they did not. They could have killed us. They left. They came back. He gave them a radio, everything he had, and he begged them to let us run and go to a Catholic church. That was like just 2 minutes away from the house. So one of the soldiers just let us run to the Catholic church. So my mom, my sisters, myself, and my baby, my sisters and her children, we were maybe 10 people. We went to the Catholic church, and that Catholic church actually used to be a teacher in a school that was attached to the Catholic church. So we went to hide in that Catholic church, and when we got there, so many other Tutsi were there, so many people, full of people, some of them already in agony because they had been, cut by machetes and all that. They were. It was just incredible. So on the 7th, we managed to go and hide that Catholic church. And on the same night, I remember the priest who was hiding people was also the director of the school where I was a teacher. So the priest allowed me, because I had a baby, my daughter was 6 months, my sister had a 6 months boy and a 3 months girl. He took us to hide in a house where there were other women with children. That house, the woman who lived in that house was a teacher with me, so we were teachers together. So we went to hide in that small house inside the school where I was a teacher, inside that Catholic church and the school church. And while we were there hiding, of course, we were so scared. We had to give some medicine for the babies so they don't cry, so the militian and the soldier don't know where we are. In the meantime, we have left my mom and my dad in the church, and a nephew and a niece. We left them in that big church. And just 2 days later, they came to kill people in the church. They almost killed everyone. But luckily, Nancy, believe me, I always believe God made the way I survived them with my family. It's a miracle that I will never be able to explain than just believing in God. Yeah. And when they came to kill people, my dad managed to run and he fell, outside. I think he fell in a big hole somewhere. And one of my nieces who was there, she also fell. She managed to hide in the bush. My mom fell on the floor because she couldn't run, and a lot of bodies on top of her. But she did not die because she was covered by other people who were killed.
Yeah.
So it's a long story, but to cut it short, it starts raining, and that night, my dad, who was hiding in a bush, and my niece, the priest saw them and brought them to the house where I was hiding with my sister and other few women. And we thought my mom was dead, and we thought one of my nieces was dead because we did not see them. But on the 13th of April, the biggest miracle of our life, my brother-in-law was a Belgian soldier. My young sister was married to a Belgian guy and lived in Belgium. So the husband managed to come as part of the Belgian soldiers who were coming to rescue only expatriate. They were allowed to come and rescue French, Belgian, American, not Rwandan. Do you know all that happened when we had the peacekeepers from the UN? But he managed to really come with other Belgian soldiers to rescue only expatriate. But he asked special permission if he found his family-in-law, that if he could bring them. Luckily, he knew where we lived and where I was hiding. So he came, and the priest came to the house where we were hiding and say, someone wants to see you. So I say, someone certainly wants to kill us. But the priest said, come, come. So I ran, I went out and I saw him. It was like seeing God in himself. I said, Guy, you here? He said, come, go and get your children, get your mom, get your dad, everyone, come. So I went back to the house, ran with my children and my sister and my nephew and my dad, but we did not know that my mom was alive. And the priest told him that my mom was in another place, and he went and got my mom. And he put my mom and all of us in a military, big, this big military
Trucks, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how you call them. So he just packed us with other Belgian soldiers. And when they were doing that, they were shooting the militias, because the militias were really upset that these Belgian soldiers are coming to rescue people. And they took us to the airport, put us in a military flight, took us to Kenya, where we stayed 2 nights in a military airport with many other Rwandan, but most of them were actually people from the government who were part of the organizers of the genocide, and a lot of expatriates. And after that, he took us to Belgium. The rest is history. That was on the 13th of April, a day we will never forget. Yeah.
I mean, thank you for sharing that. Of course, when you go through what you went through and experience and saw what you saw, there's a lot of trauma that comes with that. And could you just share with us how genocide affected your life and the lives of those around you?
I have to say that when we arrived in Belgium, we were so broken, so traumatized, but also felt so lucky and so privileged, because we left and other people behind us were killed. So for me, the way the genocide affected me personally, for many months when I was in Belgium, I felt so guilty for surviving, because I knew people we left behind. And I say, how can I survive and other people did not survive? But because of that guiltiness, I say, I want to speak out. I want to be able to share what happened. I want to be able to advocate for peace. So the genocide, the way it affected me, gave me that. Because what I did not share, when I lived in Rwanda, I was a girl guide. Actually, when you ask me my memories of Rwanda, I should have told you that. Being a girl guide saved my life big time. So I was a very active young leader. I was the leader of the organization. I was connected with Belgian girl guides. I was connected with girl guides around the world. I used to travel to Belgium and Germany and for guiding. So when I arrived in Belgium, I already had that's in me to be an activist, for really empowering young women mainly, but also really to talk about peace, being together. So when I was in Belgium, I connected with the Belgian Girl Guide, and they start involving me in activities, and it helped me to deal with my trauma. It helped me because I was broken, but I felt I had something to do that helped me to feel useful, to feel I can contribute, to feel I can make a small change where I can. By working with the Girl Guides in Belgium, I was able to start supporting the Girl Guides in Rwanda when it was possible now to be able to communicate, when it was possible. And also, I was connected with with other Rwandan survivors who lived in Belgium, the few of us, and one of them set up a radio called Peace Radio. And I went to work with them, volunteering to talk about the importance of peace, of how, as young people, women, whatever, we all share the values of wanting just to be, if you are young, you just want to go to school, build your career. Why would you being a Tutsi and Hutu be what is the most important? So we start doing peace programs that were helping people who were in camps or people who were just back home. So that gave me, for me, the genocide could have broken me completely. But the fact I was already so much an activist for peace in Rwanda with the Girl Guide and connecting with Girl Guide in Belgium gave me that chance to rebuild actually to deal with my trauma. Because if I was going to sit there, now I work with women for refugee, women who are seeking asylum in the UK. I am the director for Women for Refugee Women. We provide opportunity for them to come and learn English and do drama, do that. If you don't do that, you stay in your own corner and you just get depressed and the trauma breaks you. So being able to be active in somehow, somewhere helped me that to deal with the trauma of the genocide without any doubt. But remembering how privileged I am and saying, I survived for a reason. I survived to speak out.
Yes.
Saying that, I have so many friends or cousins, whatever, who survived and who the trauma almost killed them because also they experienced worse thing than me. They saw their family being killed. They saw the children or their mom or their dad. Some of them were, I'm not even going to share what happened to them because beyond what you can imagine. So for them, recovering from the trauma of the genocide is still going on even now. For me, my way to recover was really to be active. I still, every year in April, maybe have this flashback when I can spend a week maybe having a bit of nightmares. But I usually say, let's just me speak out. Let me be active. Let me support other women. Let me make sure I give back to the society because I have been so lucky and privileged. And that's my way to do it. And because of the Girl Guide, I was able to also find a good job and become the director for Girl Guide for the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts for Africa region. And that gave me now that much energy to really give back. So giving back, being able to contribute to peace building, empowering girls and young women to achieve their ambition, just gave me that sense of you survived for a reason. You did not survive to just be in a corner and shut. But that's not given to everyone, I have to say.
Wow. No, that's definitely inspirational to a lot of people that are been in your shoes. And some people, I mean, trauma can kill you because a lot of people, like you are saying, they just stay in that moment, and it's no fault of that of them. It's just what happened, and they cannot come out of it. And you choosing to have a voice for the voiceless is it's really amazing, because even if you didn't experience it to the length of what other people did, you still experienced it.
Oh yeah.
But it's too traumatizing to see that going on in your own country. You grew up, and also this discrimination is just beyond. I didn't even know that discrimination started prior to the genocide.
Oh God, so badly, actually, so deeply. In school, sometimes they used to say, oh, the Tutsi, get up. And everyone point you the finger of you. So the teacher will ask you to stand up to identify you as a Tutsi. So everyone knows there is a Tutsi, like there is an animal in a class. There is, they used to call us snakes and cockroach and all those kind of things. So you grow up with that. It can destroy you.
Yes, because that alone is traumatizing just by itself, even without the war. As a child, you're just growing up as I'm not good enough or whatever it is, and you're being called something outside your own name. How did even that start? I'm so confused with that piece.
As you say, we have to read some books about Rwandan history because
I know it's a lot to cover in.
It's so much to cover. It's so much to cover, but it has been going on since, of course, when Rwanda became independent in 62, but mainly in 59 when there was a revolution, because prior to the revolution in 59, prior to the independence, Rwanda was a kingdom, and the kingdom, the king and his, entourage and all that were Tutsi. I mean, I don't like saying that, but that's how the history is. That the king and his entourage and all those people before the colonization, it was the Tutsi. When the Belgian colony came and the German before, they gave so much power to the Tutsi, who were already in power, and the Hutu felt that they were discriminated in that time. So when the Catholic Church and the Belgian start now supporting the people who are oppressed to have the voice. And in 59 there was a revolution. The kingdom was scrapped. The king has to go in exile. And after in 62, Rwanda became independent, and the first president was coming from the Hutu, which was the majority, the Tutsi being a minority. So now it was like revenge. We're gonna revenge now that we are in power. The minority has oppressed us for a long time. Now we are in power, we're going to oppress you. But I have to say the colonization played such bad role in this. The Belgian really, and the Catholic Church, as much as I was very much part of it, I was a Catholic myself, because that's how you grow up. You go to a Catholic school, you grow up, all that you knew. But the role they played in really exacerbating those divisions is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
No,
a long history.
I think for a lot of our listeners and our viewers, I think all of us will have a question as to how it started, because again, for us it starts 1994 for when the genocide starts, and then we are puzzled as to why is there a division even prior to this? Like, what
there's so
caused
much.
this?
Yeah, it was bad actually. From as far as I know, I grew up knowing that I'm a Tutsi. That if a Tutsi is a bad person, they did bad things before, and also all the physical characteristics they were trying to divide.
That's the one thing I had. I read, because I was like, how do they know who's who? But it's also stated in there that the physical characteristics. The Tutsis look differently from the Hutu.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because at the end we speak the same language. We lived all together. It was, you went some country like in Belgium, when you say this is for the Flemish and this is for the French speakers part, they are even separated. In Rwanda, we were not. We all live together and we speak. We are one of the I think one or with Burundi and maybe another country in Africa, where we have only one language for everyone. We don't have any dialect.
Nothing.
Kinyarwanda is the language for everyone.
Oh, wow.
We had the same religion. We had the same, as I said, we lived together. So sometimes it's just so difficult to understand how deeply the hatred that's led to a genocide could really grow and be so bad. Yeah, I struggle. I really, sometimes I joke with my friend, I say, I may need to write a book myself on the genocide, because it may allow me to do more research on how people can hate each other so much when they share so much. They have so much in common.
Yeah, no, like you said, the revenge. I think that's a huge part of it, because when people are angry, they don't see anything but just, I need to revenge.
But the revenge, when the government that's come in power does use that to govern, use that to hold on power, then I always tell, if we had a president like Mandela who came in after being in jail after the apartheid and come and say, we are not going to revenge and kill all the white people who oppressed us. We are going to find a way to live together because ABC. So if we had that kind of governance, we would have not come to a genocide. But if you have presidents in power who just think about themselves and their own small family, their small group, and we want to use that to govern a country, so they hold for me, governance and lack of really good leaders who have a big vision. You see, I mean, the current president could have also said revenge as much as possible, but he got the vision of we need to have a unified Rwanda. That's the only way we can progress as a country. And so not having really that kind of vision for years and years, revenge was the way to, because it's deep in your DNA to say, oh, yeah. So unless you really have, it's like a child. If a child grow up in a house without love, without understanding, feeling that loving each other is good, you grow up hating each other. So it's just, yeah. One day, hopefully, I will do some research and get to understand myself.
Yeah, no.
How we came to that.
I mean, you are huge with community service, supporting others, especially the women. You are now the director at the Women for Refugee Women. Thanks to my girl Muma for this connect and for connecting us. She's also part of Women for Refugee.
Yeah, she's a trustee. Yeah.
Yes. What got you involved in the community, in this organization?
So Women for Refugee Women is an organization. It has been in existence for almost now 16, 17 years. It was set up by Natasha Water, who's a journalist, to really support women who seek asylum in the UK, to support them, first of all, to rebuild their life, to absolutely feel empowered and use their voice themselves to change the narrative about who they are as refugee women. So we do that through creating space for them to come together and first feel safe, feel they are loved, they are welcomed, because the rhetoric outside by the government and all that is like, refugees are bad, refugees are come to do that. We say, no, we want to make sure that they feel welcomed. But once they feel welcomed and can deal with the trauma that they have been through, because we have people from Syria, Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, all those countries, but we have from Uganda, from everywhere. Once they start hearing, we now provide with them opportunities to learn English. For those who don't speak English, to do drama, to do yoga, poetry, knitting, do things, do activity that help them to relax, learn, and also connect. That's one big purpose we do. The second is to make sure they are agents of change themselves. So we do communication skills, advocacy skills, so they can speak for themselves about the experience, about the changes they want to see. And that brings to our third thing, which is campaigning for an asylum system that is fair, that allows them to rebuild their life at the end of the day, that believes in their stories, that stretch them. That's the most difficult, as you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we say we have win. Oh, we are doing this very well, and suddenly there's a government that comes and say, no, we're gonna send you abroad. No, we're gonna put you in detention. No, so that's the biggest challenge we have. But we fight really with other organizations. But for me, what I did love most about the organization is how we bring those seeking asylum women, it's men in London, to be together and learn together and support each other, and now get this kind of strong voice. Because when they are broken and when they isolated, they cannot. But when they are together, learning together, they feel empowered to speak out. So that's what we do. We have around 400, 450 women in London that we support. They come to our office from Monday to Wednesday to learn classes, but also we support them to do the immigration cases, where we support them to get solicitors so they can really put their claim for asylum. And when they become refugees, we support them to understand now how you move on in the community, how you go to find a job, how you go to school, all that. So it's really, I mean, I work for them because I believe it's an amazing organization, because it's really rounded all over. It's not just one thing, but it's really rebuilding life through all those activities that give you the voice and that make you to be the agent of change, to give you that agency. So you are in charge of your life. So it's just great, I have to say.
Alphonsine, are the services free that you guys provide?
Free, of course. Yeah, free, yeah.
Okay, and you host all the women from all over the world, as long as
I
they're
mean,
refugees, or is it
the
specific
criteria
to
you have to be an
Rwanda?
asylum seeker. No, it's not Rwanda. There is even no one from Rwanda actually in that organization for now. So the criteria you have to be an asylum seeker in UK, based in London. So as I said, we have women from Afghanistan, from Syria, from Eritrea, from Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda. Quite really a good range of women, but mainly Africa and the Middle East, mainly.
I see. I mean, usually in the communities, like the aftermath, I know you've mentioned some of the things that you are doing to help these women to get into society. If you can just continue sharing on how you support them to start getting on the healing journey, because I mean, I think healing journey, it's an ongoing type of process. There's no destination. Um,
Yeah, it's
what is
exactly
some of
what you
the
said.
support?
It's as you said, we call it actually a journey because they come to us when they are new in a new country, when they don't speak the language, most of them. So we really make sure the journey is you feel safe, you feel understood by people who are welcoming you. That's very important. After that, we give you an opportunity to learn. You want to learn English, you want to learn drama, you want to learn poetry or knitting or a kind of skills that they do together and they are talking. Like knitting, we call it radical knitting. They knit about messages against the hostile environment. They knit about what they want to see for themselves. So they are doing that when they are at our activities. But when what we provide also now training on how you find a job. When you got your refugee status, you will need to move on and find a job. So we provide workshop. We connect them with partners outside that can give them that opportunity. We provide them with those who still want to go to school. We help them to apply for university. So that's a journey. And when they go out, we make sure that they are equipped with the skills to go out and rebuild their life. So it's really the organization I support. It's really that when you are just a asylum seeker, and we help you on that journey that will lead you to rebuild your life. I always give them an example. I say myself, I was an asylum seeker. I had to go to an organization to the girl guide and all that. Now I'm a director. I would like you to do the same. And we give an example of those women like me who, through their journey of becoming refugees or migrants, whatever, they have had the support we provide. Because without that support, you don't understand the system as well. Understanding the system. Sometimes just we will deliver a session on the roles and rights of a woman in the UK, rights of an immigrant in the UK. So to understand the system, how you go to a bank to open an account, so these basic things. That's when you are completely new and on your own, you get lost. And what is great is now in the organization, we have a detention group, we have a spokesperson network, we have an advocacy network. So it's now themselves that are doing the job to talk to MPs, to talk to journalists. But also, all those activities are delivered by volunteers. And when I arrived, the volunteer was mainly maybe women who are established in the UK. Now we have a lot of volunteers who were the refugees themselves, and they come and give back. We have women who now run community space in other where they have been sent to live. Someone is being sent to live in Birmingham or Coventry, and they start building a small organization with other women. So it's really a journey of rebuilding your life, basically, and really you can't rebuild your life if you're gonna stay in this mindset. I am a refugee and I'm not nothing, I'm not able, and I'm a woman, I can't do anything. We say, get empowered to feed. Yes, you're a refugee, but you can rebuild your life. You can get a job. You can be in the community. You can be an example to your own children. So it's really, we call it empowerment, but we are thinking we need to find a way to change that, because we don't like to say we are empowering. We want to say we are giving to the women the power they already have in themselves. We are unlocking the potential and the power they have for themselves to rebuild their life. Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So when it comes to helping others, there's so much you learn through the journey, your own journey. What are some of the lessons you've learned along your own journey that you would like to share with a lot of people that are refugees all over the world?
Oh, so I think what I have, it's what I was saying, what I have learned through my journey is, if on your journey you are able to meet people or organization that support you to not remain as a victim, but to be able to say, yes, I was a victim of the genocide, or as a victim of, because we have a lot of women who also
From
are
different countries, different
from
walks.
different countries because of gender-based violence sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're here because of different reasons. So to say, how can we reconnect you with an organization, people who help you to get away of that feeling of I am a victim and I'm now nothing, I am no one, and I'm gonna just be assisted all my life. So my really learning through my journey to say, yes, I was assisted for 6 months or a year because I needed to recover from trauma. I needed to understand the new country I was living in. But yes, a year or two, absolutely. In that period, I was supported to start a journey of recovery, a journey of rebuilding my life. And for me, that's the lesson. Not remaining as a victim, I'm done, I'm a refugee, I'm going to be assisted all my life. Say, no, I'm going to be able now to go back to school, find a job, and contribute to the new country I am in. I don't want to continue to be that person who's seen as coming to take things from, the rhetoric here. They come and they take the house, they do that. Say, no, I am a nurse, I am contribute, I am a teacher, I am this. So that, for me, that's what I have learned through my journey. That if, believe me, Nancy, I always say, if I was going to continue to be assisted, be there doing nothing, not to be able, like yourself or even Muma, I admire Muma, you just say, I'm going to even start a business, I'm going to do something about my life. But you cannot do that if you don't have a system, an organization that supports you. But being able to do that is important, because it's only by doing that we change the narrative about us. Otherwise, people will think, oh, these refugees, these women. No, we are able to be who we want to be and to contribute to the changes we want to see, and to give back to a community that welcomes us, and to demonstrate to those who don't welcome us that actually can be better than them. Because in the community, we have those who keep saying, oh, these refugees. Sometimes I tell them, yeah, but I'm doing a job. I'm paying my taxes.
No.
My daughter went to university. She's doing ABC. So I would like every woman, refugee or other refugees, not even women, to have that chance to rebuild their life and not remain victims. Because when we remain victims, we get into the mindset of these people who don't like us. So we give them a chance to say, you see, they are here just to, but when you say, no, I am here to also be myself, but also to contribute to the community, to be part of the society. And shut up, if I can say that.
Yeah. No, listen, I love everything you are saying. Be the change that you want to see. It's a big
Yeah.
thing. It's a big deal, because it's very easy to be in your own cocoon and continue to feel like uh, you are not enough. Everything that's negative is going to continue to run through, because whatever you feed is what will continue to happen.
Yeah.
So if you are feeding the negative energy, that whatever has transpired, continue to rerun that in your head, it's going to continue to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. To be
Shifting your
role
mind
models,
helps
to
a
be
lot.
able, yeah. And for our children, my daughter always say, "Mom, I'm glad you have been a role model to me."
Yeah.
So I can also being a role model to our children is so important, because they grow up in a society where they sometimes get so lost to understand who they are, where they come from. When you move to a country when you are 6 months old or 3 years old, and
Yeah.
you get sometimes confronted to racism, you get confronted to discrimination in that country. When you think, I have left a country because of discrimination,
Yeah.
I am in a country now I'm discriminated because of now the color of my skin or my religion. So really, as who are adults, we need to give a role model to our children so they can know, you know what, I can also, even if I am a foreigner, I can just be a journalist, be a doctor, I used to tell my daughter, of course, if I had to live in a social housing and just do nothing, sometimes it happens, but I don't want to people to think that that's what refugees should do. Just live in this social housing, isolated, and stay there and do nothing and feel happy that they are assisted. No, because you don't also give that role model to your children.
Yes. No, I agree. I agree. Um, I'm just thinking while you are talking about your daughter, how are you able to, I guess, incorporate your culture, being that um, you grew up the way you grew up, and then now you are in London, and she's growing up there. How are you able to incorporate your culture?
I have to say, and you may not put this, I don't think I have done it as well as I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I was, of course, I have friends from Rwanda and all that, but the way I did it mainly is because I have such big family, and I have a big family, not in UK, but in Belgium. So I made sure that she goes to see my sisters and her cousins, and we speak in Rwanda so she can learn. But I made sure when we were able to travel back to Rwanda that we do that. So I haven't really been successful in getting her to understand the culture by connecting her with the Rwandan community much here. I have to say, on that one, I did not do very well. But I made sure she was able to go back home regularly when it was possible to travel home so she can learn. Yeah, I did not do a
I
great
don't
job
think
in terms
there's
of.
any right or wrong way to do it, honestly, because it all depends on someone's circumstances. Like for
Yeah,
you
that's
to
true.
sending her to your family in Belgium, that's enough. Because if she gets to know, she gets to see her fellow Rwandans, and she
Yeah,
gets to experience the culture through them as much as she experiences them with you. I'm only asking because I'm sure there's a lot of people in your situation that are incorporated. Even for me, I'm not a refugee, but my kids are born here in the US. And
yeah,
for me, the culture incorporation of Zambia is through food. For
yeah,
instance, the music, for instance. I'm not
yeah,
out
that's
there.
true.
Yeah, so
Mm,
for everybody is very different. I was just curious to know maybe somebody
yeah.
can take away from you how you are doing it. I mean, you mentioned Rwanda, how it is now. I mean, people are going for tourism, and people have been going. Have you been back?
I go back regularly. So luckily, I could go back when I became a Belgian citizen, so I could travel back to Rwanda. But when I became the director for the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, I was the director for Africa region. So my role was to develop guiding in the Africa region, which meant I was traveling around Africa, including Rwanda.
Oh, wow.
The Girl Guides in Rwanda was quite a big organization. So I used to go to Rwanda, Kenya. I went even to Zambia twice,
Oh,
Zimbabwe,
nice.
South Africa, all those countries, Nigeria, Ghana. So I was very privileged in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that one. But my parents, my dad and my mom, they survived the genocide with us and we lived in Belgium. But in 1997, they decided to go back because they did not like living in Belgium.
Yes.
So when the Rwanda became peaceful, they went back. So I used to go to visit them. Now they passed, but I used to go to visit them. I still have 2 sisters and a brother in Rwanda. I go and see them. So I go regularly, and when I go, believe me, I don't recognize my country. I say, God, what is this? How can a country change so incredible, so incredible? It's something I did not expect. I have to say.
Because my question to you would be, what do you hope for Rwanda's future?
My hope is, of course, my hope is that the development in terms of really economic and social and women empowerment, because it's real. The women empowerment is not tokenistic, it's real.
Yeah.
So all that really to continue, that Rwanda continue to be a peaceful country that allow that to continue. But my biggest hope, to be frank, as much as there is people live together, there's peace. My biggest hope is that the reconciliation between Hutu and Tutsi, that is, yes, there is no longer identity when they say it's Hutu and Tutsi, but that's reconciliation is that behalf. I don't. How can I say it? That is so deep that there's no more genocide or killing one day because you never know, and that's my trauma. My trauma is, yes, it has been 30 years. Yes, it may be 60 years, but could it happen again? I don't know. This is my biggest trauma because I say we have a GDP reconciliation, but when you talk to some people, you can feel that deeply they're still hurting by what happened to them from both sides. The Tutsi who survived, but now the Hutu may be outside and now being in the opposition saying these Tutsi now are bad to us. So sometimes I read on the internet, I listen to things and I say, God, those people who are still preaching hatred, if for any reason they were going to be in power, what will happen to this country? Because you have those people who still preaching hatred because of the trauma they lived through or whatever reason. So that's my biggest worry, and my hope is that those people will never be in power.
No, I completely understand. Thank you for that. So what do you think the role of education does for women, really?
What?
The role of education. What do you think it does for women, especially for those that have gone through genocide?
I think education in general for women, of course, it gives them the power to be in charge of their life, the power to contribute to the society. However, I have to say, I used to work on a big project on HIV/AIDS long ago when HIV/AIDS was big. And I visited quite a few projects in Africa, and there were women who went to university, who are doctors or ministers and all that, but who were, and so they were economically empowered, they had great education, but they were in those very abusive relationships. So much abusive relationship, and they stay in because the society tells them being married is the most important things. So I question myself and say, these women, some of our doctors, our ministers, or whatever, but they are dying from HIV/AIDS because they're in this relationship. Sometimes it's an example because I was working on those projects. And
no, don't worry. It's a common theme.
I say education is so important.
Yeah,
it's important, but is it enough? Self-belief, self-confidence, that give you the power to challenge the norms, to challenge the cultural and sometimes belief that are so deep in you. How can education help you to really do that? Because I've felt so lost to talk to very powerful women who are educated at the highest level to realize how they are in the most abusive relationship and HIV AIDS and this and that. I say, God. So I have always mixed feelings because I think education, yes. If I was not educated, I would not be talking to you today, probably. The education gave me a chance to have a job. The education gave me a chance to have a voice. The education gave me a chance to support my daughter. But I always believe being a girl guide, because girl guide was giving me that voice to believe in myself, to believe in my potential. I felt it added so much to, even more than the education I had by going to university. So belonging to a youth organization that empowered me to have a voice, I felt that it's the best education I have ever had.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. How can individuals or organizations support your organization, the Women for Refugee Women? How can
Women.
someone contribute?
Yeah, so we always say the best way to support us, of course, it's getting to know us through following us in social media. We have all the social media you can imagine. So you learn about who we are and what we do. And by doing that, either you can want to volunteer for us, because we are always looking for volunteers. You can donate to us, because we are all looking for donation in terms of money or things to, like when we have Christmas, we give clothes and computers and all that to women. But mainly, so volunteer with us, donate to us, but also campaign with us, campaign for change. If we have a petition, if we are doing something to raise the voice of the women, share that story, support us to really talk about how important it is to welcome people who are seeking asylum. So support us to really volunteering with us, donating with us, getting to know us through our social media, and sharing our campaigns with the rest of the world, because that's the only way we can make the changes.
Concrete Pastures is definitely on board on that.
Thank you.
Whenever you guys are sharing, please tag us and we'll reshare.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys are sharing. We definitely want to support because you guys are doing amazing things. Being the agent for change you want to see, it's huge.
Yeah.
And just changing the narrative for everybody. Thank you for all you are doing. This has been long in the making. It's almost a year. We've been
I
trying
know.
this. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful you made time to share a little bit of your story with us and just to shed some light on some of the questions that people might have on what happened in Rwanda and just giving us that little insight for us. I really, really appreciate you for making the time. Any
No, I
last words?
appreciate. No, I just want also to say thank you for the opportunity, because it's always good for me to be able to share what we do mainly at Women for Refugee Women, so people know us. But I'm also inspired by yourself, by doing this, by using the platform to share the stories of people like me. It's great. So I really admire that. And I thank you for creating that opportunity for people like me.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And
I appreciate you too, Nancy. Good to meet you.
no, same here, same here. I'm so grateful to my girl Muma. This has been amazing and very insightful and informative for all of us. Thank you, my dear.
Yeah, thank you.